They're set to call today's action between the Vikings and the Jets.
It is overcast, chilly, and wind not yet a factor as we welcome you to sold-out Meadowlands for the interconference battle with first place at stake for both the Minnesota Vikings and the New York Jets. And hello, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton alongside Matt Millen. The Jets are 7-4, beating Chicago last week, but Glenn Foley, their darling of a quarterback, is hurt. Neil O'Donnell gets the call again. What do the Jets want to get done with Neil today, Matt?
I think the biggest thing, not only with Neil O'Donnell and their entire offense, is confidence. I think the whole thing comes down to believing that you can get it done. In fact, when we talked to Neil O'Donnell, confidence came up a number of times. In fact, in an effort to get over that kind of thing, Bill Parcells planned on showing them what a confident team looked like. And that was their opening game against the Seattle Seahawks. He said, if we play like that, we'll be tough to beat.
As for the Minnesota Vikings, they had their 6-game winning streak snapped last week in resounding fashion against the Detroit Lions. What did they learn in that loss to Detroit?
I think balance, and I think they also realize that they have to be able to run the football. And because of that, I think today you're going to see a healthy dose of Robert Smith. I think when they get Robert Smith going, they're pretty tough to stop.
And right now on the field with Vikings head coach Dennis Green, who has come out. Dennis Green is Kurt Menefee. Let's go to Kurt.
All right, Dick. Coach Green, you're coming off a tough loss last week to Detroit. What's it going to take for your team to get back on track today?
We look at last week as last week. We're fired up and ready to go this week. We're in first place. We're playing for first place against the first place team. So I think we're going to bring that kind of emotion and expectations to our ball club.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right, back to you, Dick.
All right, Kurt. The Vikings and the Jets kicking it off in a matter of moments.
Come on, let's bring it. First place, you came in first, leaving in first. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go ahead and play. Let's play with all our hearts, all our emotions, and just let it ride. Let's go ahead. Let's win on 3. 1, 2, 3.
You're watching Fox NFL Sunday. The countdown continues.
Back here at the Meadowlands, getting set for the start of the game in the critical month of November. As far as the head coach's records are concerned, Dennis Green trying to get to 500. Bill Parcells with the Patriots and the Jets 11-4. This is the first time that the Vikings have played the Jets at the Meadowlands. They have, of course, played the Giants several times here and have lost 5 out of the previous 6. The Vikings have won the toss, and they'll get the ball first. And John Hall, who's having a big rookie season for the Jets, will be kicking off. That is Mo Williams. He's back there with David Palmer. And we're underway. And a good kickoff. And it'll be down in the end zone for a touchback. And so the lineups for the Minnesota Vikings. Brad Johnson coming off his least productive game of what has been otherwise an outstanding year. The offensive line and the strength on the left side with Todd Stussy and Randall McDaniel. As Matt mentioned, they want to get Robert Smith more in gear this week. Jake Reed and Chris Carter, shackled last week, looking to break out this time. 1st and 10 from the 20. And here is Robert Smith on 1st down, and he gets nothing. Mo Lewis, one of the outside linebackers, quickly comes in to make the play. One of the few 3-4 teams in the NFL now, with Hugh Douglas, Ernie Logan, and Rick Lyle up front. James Farrier, the rookie from Virginia, with Marvin Jones, Dwayne Gordon, and Mo Lewis, who just made the tackle. And in the secondary, they'll be tested today with Otis Smith and Aaron Glenn, the corners, Jerome Henderson, and Victor Green, the safety. 2nd down and 9 for Minnesota. And again, they go to Robert Smith, and he gets just to the 25-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd and 5.
Speaking to this Minnesota Viking team, I mean, really everybody from the head coach down through the players, they say we're a different team when Robert Smith is on the field. He gives us an extra added dimension. Robert Smith gives you the speed, but he also runs well inside.
Gained 61 yards on only 10 carries last week. As you said, he'll carry a lot more today. 3rd down and 6. And Johnson going up the middle, and he's got the tight end, Andrew Glover, and a flag is down. Glover with the reception at the 45-yard line. But there is a penalty. Jerome Henderson and Raymond Austin on the play. And this will be An offensive interference call against the Minnesota Vikings that'll nullify the game.
Interference on the offense, number 82, 10-yard penalty.
And it was Glover, so a 21-yard gain is nullified as Glover pushed off.
Yeah, but that's a good sign for Minnesota. See, I think last week what they learned in Detroit was the way they were being defended, they had to get their tight end involved in the game, and they never got him involved. And so this week they're saying if it's there, you get to the tight end right away.
And Eddie Green says he expects the tight ends to catch about 10 balls today. 3rd down and 16. 3rd and long, and Brad Johnson's pass thrown underneath the Glover, but he's going to be way short, about 9 yards shy of the first down.
Yeah, Dick, and that's one of those balls you don't want your tight end to catch. That's one of the times when you want to be able to push it past the yard marker and make sure you get the first down. And what you got to do there is you got to credit the New York Jets defensively because they took away all the deep stuff and only gave the tight end up.
Leon Johnson back deep. He's been an outstanding punt returner, and Mitch Berger with the kick. And from the 34-yard line, Leon Johnson breaks a couple of tackles, and they still can't get him. Leon Johnson down the middle. He may score. Touchdown Jets. A 66-yard punt return, and the Jets take a quick lead. He got a head of steam and never stopped, and the Vikings grabbing at Leon Johnson couldn't come close.
That's one area where the New York Jets have really turned things around, has been in special teams. Leon Johnson saw the crack. He shook a tackle off of Chris Walsh, and he was gone.
John Hall for the extra point. And this is what Bill Parcells' mantra is all about, special teams. And it pays off for the Jets. Hall's extra point is good, and the Jets lead 7-0. Spectacular 66-yard punt return by rookie Leon Johnson from North Carolina for the lead.
Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. By Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Levi's Jeans. They go on. And by Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide.
2 minutes and 21 seconds into the game, the New York Jets with their first punt return for a touchdown since Terrence Mathis back in 1990. Leon Johnson, who went through several grasping Vikings, 66 yards to give the Jets a 7-0 lead. And now John Hall will kick off once again. And this is a low end-over-end kick. David Palmer returning from the 6. Palmer's a threat. And a couple of jukes, and Palmer is finally down at the 31.
Well, I'll tell you when the guy's a threat. You watch Chris Walsh, number 81. Now, Chris Walsh, he's an excellent special teams guy. But what he fails to do here is wrap his arms. He tries to, but the power of Leon Johnson just ran through the arm tackle. And then Berger was trying to buy some time. It was too late. I want you to watch Chris Walsh. Drive the arms through. So he kind of caught him. Johnson ran right through it, and then it was out the gate.
From the 32-yard line, the Vikings with their second possession. And Robert Smith running off left tackle is hit by Dwayne Gordon and Mo Lewis, but a pickup of 6 for Smith.
Well, one of the ways that you attack a 34 defense, if you can, is you isolate those inside linebackers, what's generally called the bubble. So Gordon and Marvin Jones will be guys who are going to have to really step their games up. See these two guys right inside. They're going to have to be aggressive at the point.
2nd down and 3. Again, Robert Smith going outside. And a fine play by Victor Green. A gain of about 3.5, and the Vikings will get a first down.
See that guy right there, number 21? Well, anybody who's a Jet fan knows him, and if you're a football fan, you should know him. Because Victor Green has a great, if you look at his nose, see right there should be a football right there. Because that guy has got a nose for the ball, and he's always around it.
1st and 10 at the 43. The Vikings trailing 7-0. They've taken the leads in just about every game but the last 2 this year. Pressure on Brad Johnson, and the pass for Jake Reed, and it is ruled complete. Reed got both feet in inside the Jet 40, a gain of 18 yards. And good pressure from Otis Smith from the cornerback spot.
Yeah, Otis Smith came inside on the blitz, and then he turned it over to Henderson to the top side, so it doesn't look like Bill Belichick and Bill Parcells are going to waste any time about getting after Brad Johnson. They don't want him to get comfortable down there.
Reed's numbers, both Reed and Carter was stopped last week by the Lions. Smith hit at the line of scrimmage, gets a couple more up the middle. Last week, both Chris Carter and Jake Reed not a factor in the first half. Only one catch and 19 yards for the two combined, and that is unheard of for that duo.
And I think a lot of that has to do with two ways. First of all, the way Detroit played them, and secondly, I think Brad Johnson has to be able to see some things. And what he's got to see today is that Chris Carter's matched up on Aaron Glenn, which is really kind of a height physical mismatch.
2nd and 8, and again they go to the running game. It'll be 3rd down and long as Robert Smith is stopped by Rick Lyle. Brad Johnson, who has been the master of the fourth quarter comeback, but the Vikings were so far down last week it was a moot point.
Now where he's got to be good now and the rest of the season is on 3rd down, because last week the Detroit Lions, they owned 3rd down, and it was a down that the Minnesota Vikings weren't really good at.
Matthew Hatchett, a rookie, is wide to the left. 3rd down and 7 with 3 wide receivers. Brad Johnson looking for a receiver, tipped incomplete. Well covered downfield was Chris Carter by Corwin Brown. Good job by the Jets secondary, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Now you want to watch Chris Carter when he runs this route. Chris Carter's not about throwing a lot of moves. Chris Carter is about body position. Really, he's a rebounder. He's an NBA rebounder. That time he just tried to get body position on Corwin Brown and expected the ball to be thrown in tight coverage. It was incomplete.
Mitch Berger will kick from midfield, and Leon Johnson is back deep, calls for the fair catch, and the ball bounces into the end zone for a touchback. So the Jets will come back on the 20 when we return, as Brad Johnson on his first big 3rd down play is foiled. More than 5 minutes have gone by, and Neil O'Donnell's going to take his first snap of the game. O'Donnell getting another opportunity after he was benched 2 games ago for Glenn Foley, who was hurt. Only 1 touchdown in the last 40 drives. Jumbo Elliott, Lonnie Paulalé, Roger Duffy, Matt O'Dwyer, and David Williams. Adrian Morrell, the running back, with Keyshawn Johnson and Jeff Graham, the wide receivers. First down from the 20 for the Jets. And Adrian Morrell pushes the pile for a couple, but that's all. Defensively for the Minnesota Vikings, and if they're vulnerable, this is where it is on the defensive side. But John Randall, who was hemmed in last week, ready to break out. The linebackers, Ed McDaniel, Jeff Brady, and Dixon Edwards, and an aggressive secondary, particularly the strong safety Robert Griffin. 2nd down and 8 for the Jets on the 22, and they'll have to keep an eye all day on that man, John Randall. Lorenzo Neal goes in motion. And O'Donnell's pass to Morrell out of the backfield, and he is hit by Dixon Edwards. And that will bring up 3rd down and about 5 for the Jets.
So much has been talked about with the Jets and confidence in Neil O'Donnell. We sat down and talked to him the other day. He said, you know what? Sometimes you just got to forget about making mistakes.
And have fun.
Yeah, and just have fun. And I think when I start to hear guys talk like that, that means they start to press a little bit. And so when a guy starts pressing, you start throwing it short underneath to give him a little confidence.
Tied for 10th in the NFL, and the Jets on 3rd down. Out of the shotgun is O'Donnell on 3rd and 5, and his pass is caught for the first down. Keyshawn Johnson, who, as Ronnie Lott pointed out in his fine interview with him in the pregame show, having a much better second year than a year ago.
Keyshawn Johnson can have a better year when his quarterback gets protected. And if you're going to do that, you better take care of John Randall. You see what ended up right there? John Randall ended up with 3 guys on top of him. And because they took care of him, Keyshawn Johnson could work on the linebacker in that zone and have a good understanding where the sticks are.
Sticks right now at the Jet 31. Here's Morrell, and Brady got a hold of him, the middle linebacker, and no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down and 10s with just under 8 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Jets lead 7-0 on Leon Johnson's 66-yard punt return for a touchdown.
Dick, last week Dixon Edwards was in the middle of the game and stuck his hand up to block one of Scott Mitchell's balls, and it split his hand wide open. I mean, it was just like a laser. So now this week they have it all taped up and padded underneath those gloves, but it just split the thing.
2 tight ends for the Jets on 2nd and 10. Jeff Graham in motion. Ed McDaniel puts pressure on, and the screen pass to Adrian Morrell.
Yeah,
They'll be short of the first down by about 4.
That's a good call. That's an excellent call, and here's why. You know you got John Randall inside, and he's coming off hard. So now you start to use that against him. And so you let him come inside, and then you sneak your lineman back out. Watch right here. Here's Randall. Here's your lineman. They're going to come inside. Let him get inside. Okay, now sneak everybody back outside. Dump the screen off, and you use that aggressiveness against him. The thing with Randall is he don't care. Let him through. He's just looking for somebody to whack.
He doesn't mind overcommit now and then. 3rd down and 2. And on the draw play, Adrian Morrell breaks the tackle and gets into Viking territory. Well, the Vikings not doing a very good job of tackling in this first quarter, and a big gain of 12 yards.
Yeah, but on the other side, the Jets doing a nice job of blocking. And so I want you to watch Duffy. Duffy right here. He's going to do a good job on John Randall. He's going to come up. He's going to take him, throw him just to the outside. That's Pelele, rather. He just throws him to the outside, and that opens up this inside. And a nice job blocking by O'Dwyer on Jason Fisk. Morrell does the rest.
Jets at midfield, and here is Morrell with Neal blocking, gets around Clemens, and a hard hit by Orlando Thomas knocks him out of bounds, but the Jets will take 7 yards on first down anytime.
See, this offensive line of these New York Jets is coming off the ball pretty well. And when you can get Adrian Morrell to be able to square his shoulders up, I tell you what, it didn't matter. Orlando Thomas came there with an attitude. He gave him a nice shot. Right now, it looks to me like the Jets' offensive line is playing with good pad level.
8th play of the drive coming up for the Jets. 2nd and 3. And again, they go to Morrell, and once again, Jeff Brady. And it'll be shy by about 2 yards for a first down. 3rd down coming up as the Jets leading 7-0 in Viking territory.
You know, Dick, watching the tapes this week, one thing stood out to me when I watched the Minnesota Vikings defense. It looks to me like they're waiting for John Randall to make a play, and then everybody else is with him. That's a danger. You have a great player, you let him play his game. But you have to also try to make the play and not put it on his shoulders.
He needs help. 3rd down and 2. O'Donnell overthrows Lorenzo Neal, and Jeff Brady was in coverage, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Dick, you were talking about great players and players are making plays. Watch it. Sometimes you're going to double them. Now Duffy comes over to him, Pelele, it didn't matter. He still got through it and still got the hit on the quarterback. And that's that motor that you hear Howie Long talking about all the time. That constant working.
Brian Hansen will kick. David Palmer back deep. Palmer, one of the premier punt returners in the NFL. He got hit as he was waiting for the ball. The Jets down it at the 1. Marcus Coleman, and I don't think he can hit Palmer like that.
Even though he didn't make a fair catch, he still has to give the returner the chance to get to the ball. See, he sees the football, and now down here, David Palmer, the reason they didn't call it, because he tried to block Coleman. And then just a great job by Coleman of knowing where his feet are. See that line? See, once he steps on that line, it's a touchback. That's great awareness.
It is, and Bill Parcells has put in a whole new 3-man front with the Vikings ball on the 2. Bobby Hamilton and Rick Terry as ends, and Jason Ferguson as the nose tackle. And once again, the Jets where they are because of special teams. The punt return for a score, and getting the Vikings inside to the 2. Here's Robert Smith, and once again nothing. James Farrier. And you'd have to say right now that the Jets offensive line, as you pointed out, and their defense have taken an early hold here.
Well, one of the things that the Jets have done very well is they've played percentages. They know that if you have to drive 80 or more yards, the chances of scoring any points is 9%. And so they've been playing that field position game.
2nd and 9. And play action from the end zone. And the pass is caught by Jake Reed. Jake Reed beating Victor Glenn. Victor Green out of bounds. And a big play. Reed on a crossing pattern and a 49-yard gain. And the Vikings all of a sudden are in jet territory.
Yeah, you're going to watch him. You're able to stand back there, and Mo Lewis got a little bit of a push on him inside. And then watch Jake Reed when he's going to clear all the way across. Otis Smith is hanging to the outside. This is sitting in the zone. And the reason that became so open is you see Chris Carter on the other end. He cleared that whole side.
Good blocking by Chris Carter. First down, Vikings on the jet 48. Hand off to Robert Smith. And not much there. And right now for a McDonald's game break, let's return to Joe Buck at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood. Joe?
Well, Dick and Matt, an NFC Central update. After an Emmitt Smith fumble, Ryan Longwell misses his 3rd field goal of the year. A 34-yard try. No score in Green Bay. Meanwhile, in Chicago, Raymond Harris pokes it in from the 1, capitalizing on a Mike Alstott fumble. A field goal later, it's 10-0 Bears midway through the first quarter. Back to Dick and Matt at the Meadowlands.
For the 3-way tie for first in the NFC Central for who can grab hold. 2nd down and 8 on a rollout by Brad Johnson. Chris Carter gets away from Aaron Glenn and has another Minnesota first down.
That right there is what I'm expecting. Look at Chris Carter and Aaron Glenn. Chris Carter's a big man. Aaron Glenn is not the tallest guy or most physically imposing guy. And what he is, he's a quick, fast guy. But I would think the style of Chris Carter would work very well against Aaron Glenn. You can see him 5'9", 185, 6'3", 216. But the biggest thing is the way they play. And the way that Carter plays, he's a rebounder.
Here's Robert Smith on first down. The Vikings have not been able to get much as a flag is thrown. But they have to continue to run to set up the pass, even though they don't get much. And this penalty will be against Minnesota.
And I think they're going to get it on the fullback, Chuck Evans. I think Charles Evans took on the lead block and then kind of tried to do a body throw, almost a wrestling move.
Referee Walt Coleman.
Holding on the offense, number 29. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
It was Evans.
Yeah, I want you to watch him right here. He's going to take on Farrier, take on this thing lead. Now, boom, there it is. Now, see, he wraps his arms, and then he just tries to hip toss. And if that was in the WWF, they'd be given a couple points right there, but this is the NFL.
Yeah, different alphabet soup. Different rules. First down and 20 on the jet 46. And a swing pass, and not a good one, out to Robert Smith, and he can't do anything with that. He'll lose a couple of yards on that play, and it was Rick Terry who got a piece of that ball. So Terry got a hand on it, and it'll be 2nd down and long. 2nd and 21 coming up for the Vikings, who appear to be getting ready to be in field goal position, but they're way out of it now.
There are 2 things you have to do when you're throwing the football. First of all, you have to take what the defense gives you, and secondly, you have to know the matchups that you have. And in my mind, you have to make Chris Carter beat a guy.
2nd and 21. And this pass is caught by Reed, gets by the defender, and Reed very nearly gets first down yardage. He got nearly all of it back, shy by a couple. Marvin Jones makes the tackle. So Reed and Carter already playing a much bigger role today than they did last week against the Lions.
Well, and they should. I mean, last week in the middle of the 3rd quarter, Chris Carter caught his first ball into the sidelines and then spiked it on the sidelines. And I asked him what that was about, and he said it was frustration. He said it's tough for a leader to lead when he doesn't have any game to show.
3rd down and 3 with 4 wide receivers. And the pitch is to David Palmer, and Palmer doesn't get anywhere. Fumble, and the Jets may have recovered. We'll see the official call.
Now there's one official who's marked where the ball would be.
And the other, right.
And see, that's that guy right here. See, him.
He said it was blown dead.
He already had his foot, and he was whistling it dead at that spot. So now they're going to say where it stood. But now I'm watching, and I don't see anybody keeping a mark. of where the ball would be.
We have a fumble and a first down.
There's your answer.
And it's recovered by Otis Smith. So there was a delay. Originally, normally you see the official pointing to the ground. He did not do that initially. And so the Minnesota Vikings lose their first fumble in the last 22 quarters and only the 4th all year. So things working against the 8-3 Vikings here in the first quarter with under a minute to play. And the Jets will take it over 7-0. The Jets lead.
It takes no talent to have any kind of hustle. Chris Walsh is going to take Rick Terry, bang, and drill him right there. He's on his rear end and then comes back up. And watch Hamilton from the other side. Between Hamilton and Terry right there, just by sheer hustle, they made the play and forced it. Always remember that if you're playing in high school, it takes no talent for extra effort.
And that's what the Jets are made of, extra effort. First down on the 23, Keyshawn Johnson with a catch and a gain of 8 yards on first down. So the quick step and the quick throw by Neil O'Donnell, who's looking, as you mentioned, to get his confidence back. He lost some when he was replaced in 2 games by Glenn Foley. Minnesota has the edge in total yards, but that is deceiving. The Jets are outplaying the Vikings right now. 2nd and 2 on the New York 31. Henry and Morrell with Neal blocking, and the blocking collapses, and great aggression by the Vikings defense with Clemens and Dixon Edwards, and a loss that time of 3 yards. And that will be the final play of the first quarter, with the Jets taking advantage of outstanding special teams. At the end of the first quarter here at the Meadowlands, the Jets lead the Vikings 7-0. Everything. Never wonder how these illusions are done? We'll show you how in Fox's most controversial special ever. Magic's biggest secrets finally revealed tomorrow night at 9, 8 Central after Melrose Place. Start of the second quarter here at the Meadowlands. Some Viking fans in attendance. The New York Jets leading the Minnesota Vikings 7-0. Last week, the Jets took advantage of 5 takeaways to get 20 points in the first half alone against the Chicago Bears, and trying to take advantage here against the Vikings after the fumble. 3rd down and 5 at the 28. O'Donnell getting a rush, and Clemens knocks the ball down, a fumble, and John Randall recovers for Minnesota.
Yeah, but Dick, Dwayne Clemens, that was an excellent play by Clemens, because when he turned the corner, his head was looking right at the ball. He knew what he had to get done. Watch him down the bottom. He's going to work on David Williams. Gets to the top side. I want you to watch his head. See, he sees the ball exposed. You see it right there? He was looking down at the ball and then slapped that thing down. And then as John Randall is working the stunt to the top side, quick stays in motion and then sees an opportunity.
O'Donnell never saw Clemens from behind. So now the Vikings in great field position on the Jet 20 after the turnover, trailing by 7. Robert Smith pounding the line, has not been able to gain much today. Picks up about 4.
But the thing is that Minnesota has stayed patient with that run, and they continue to body punch, and it's just like a 15-round fight. You just keep on swinging away, and then sooner or later you're going to break one. The whole key, though, is to stay in the game.
A lot of people thought the Vikings gave up the run too early last week against Detroit. 2nd and 6. Vikings 9th in the NFL and scoring in the red zone. David Palmer on the swing pass. He was in motion. Palmer has blocking. David Palmer gets to about the 6-yard line. It'll be another first down for Minnesota. A gain of 10 yards.
And that's kind of an interesting play, because usually what happens, they take David Palmer, they're going to bring him all the way across, you see him in motion, and then after they fake it to him, usually people just drop their coverage. Well, what they did was they continued it and ran the screen outside. He was able to get some people outside. And I got to tell you something, that's a nice play by Otis Smith, because if he doesn't make that play, Palmer's in the end zone.
First and goal for the Vikings on the Jet 7. Chris Walsh, and there's the fade to Reed, and Reed holds on for the touchdown. He leaped over Otis Smith And Jake Reed with a 7-yard touchdown catch, and the Vikings in startling fashion take advantage of the New York fumble.
Yeah, that was a great catch. Watch this. This is a two-part catch. He goes up, he makes the catch. Otis Smith does the right thing. Get the hand up and gets it out of there, and then keeps on going, and tremendous concentration by Jake Reed on the other end. Watch this. Up, ball out, caught again.
Great concentration by Reed. Ed Murray with the extra point is good. And a critical fumble by Neil O'Donnell, and Reed and Carter revving themselves up. Jake Reed with a touchdown catch, and we're tied at the Meadowlands 7-7. What a play.
Nike Play Core by Toyota. Every day belongs to you. Make it count. Toyota, every day. By Visa, the official card of the NFL. It's everywhere you want to be. And by Die Hard, America's most trusted battery. Die Hard. What's under your hood?
The Vikings have tied up the Jets 7-7. Otis Smith did as well as he could defending. A great catch after the deflection and the bobble by Jake Reed, who already has matched his last week's output with 4 catches, but he's got 92 yards. And the kickoff to Aaron Glenn returning. Aaron Glenn down the sideline, and a great bit of running by the Jets kickoff return man, who is second in the AFC. That was a 42-yard return by Glenn.
You know, the key play in this drive was the sack on the backside right there. Now, part of that is the defense by the Minnesota Vikings. The other part of that is holding on to the ball. And then when you have your opportunity, just a tremendous catch by Jake Reed in the end zone.
5th touchdown catch of the year by Reed, but the Jets come right back with some terrific special teams play. They have the ball on their own 44. Hand off to Adrian Morrell. Morrell finds an opening. Adrian Morrell, and a first down inside the 45 of the Vikings. And right now, for a McDonald's game break, let's return to Joe Buck at our Fox Television Center in Hollywood.
All right, guys. Well, 8 straight losses to Dallas, staring Green Bay right in the face. But today it's at Lambeau, and today the Pack strikes first. 7-yard touchdown toss to Dorsey Levens, put Green Bay out in front. Dallas answered with a field goal. It's a 4-point game. Back to Dick and Matt.
All right, Joe, thank you very much. 12-yard gain by Morrell. O'Donnell's pass is off the hands of Jeff Graham, and he was covered by Corey Fuller, so 2nd and 10.
See, that's what Neil O'Donnell has to do. He's got to be able to get rid of the ball quick. Don't hang on to the ball. That last sack by Dwayne Clemens, he hung on to the ball a little bit too much. Best thing they do is what Foley was doing. Snap, get back, set, throw.
Foley with the torn ligament in his knee. They thought he might be out for the year. He could come back in a couple of weeks. 2nd and 10. And the pass caught by Keyshawn Johnson, and a first down on the slant pattern. Gain of 11 yards, and the Jets rolling inside the Viking 35.
Yeah, now see, that's what they have to do. You see, that was just a quick slant. And a nice job by Neil O'Donnell. Watch, there's a step. 1, 2, 3, set, throw. When he does that, he's really good. And he's throwing underneath, inside the corner, and just on top of the linebacker.
No better way to get your confidence back. 1st and 10 at the Viking 33. And Morrell gets a couple.
I thought it was interesting that Bill Parcells told us on Friday that he wanted a confident team, and he said, heck, last week the best offense he saw in the league anywhere was the Detroit Lions. And then I said the best one that prior to that was probably his first game in Seattle. And he said he planned on showing that tape to his team to show him what a confident team looked like.
Particularly O'Donnell, the way he played, and Morrell at running back. 2nd down and 8. Play fake. And the pass to Keyshawn Johnson. And O'Donnell got that away in a hurry and threw a bullet inside the 15-yard line. And Neil O'Donnell looking very sharp in this first half, a gain of 18.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll have what they want to do when they do this. See, they're going to go play action. You're going to go play action to this side. You want to get this safety here. And then it's just 2 steps, and bing, ball comes right out. And they have the safety sitting back over the top. You want your float to go with play action, and the ball comes right out.
4 catches and 43 yards for Keyshawn Johnson. Two tight ends for the Jets. First down on the Minnesota 13. There's Morrell. And Robert Griffith comes up from the secondary. And finally, Brady finishes the job. No gain after all of that.
I tell you, watched our pregame show, and you saw Ronnie Lott's talk with Keyshawn Johnson. I'll tell you one thing that really stood out to me was Keyshawn Johnson is not the same guy this year as he was a year ago. I mean, you saw a lot of maturity in that talk. And you also saw that he knows what his role is to be defined. And he said, Bill Parcells told me just make big plays. And he's comfortable with that.
And he used to carry Ronnie Lott's helmet at USC. Second down and 10. O'Donnell with the rollout. And the pass caught by Keyshawn. Did not get out of bounds. He's about at the 10-yard line. Corey Fuller. And a gain of 3 yards for the Jets.
The Jets look like they're in sync offensively, though. I mean, they're doing what they want to do. They're throwing on rhythm. O'Donnell's getting rid of the ball quick. And then their offensive line is playing with their pad level down in the run game.
William Roberts has replaced Lonnie Paulalay at left guard. Of course, Roberts played with Bill Parcells before, as we all know. Third down and 7. Looking left, going right for Keyshawn, and it's out of bounds.
Good coverage.
Covered by Corey Fuller, who was burned a few times last week by the Lions. So that'll bring up fourth down, and the Jets will send their field goal team in.
Yeah, that's good coverage and good awareness by Fuller. See, Fuller knew that if he's going to have the fade, he's got to be able to force him and use the sideline as his help.
John Hall, who kicked 3 field goals after missing his first against Chicago. Third in the NFL in points. This will be a 28-yard attempt. Brian Hansen, the holder. And the kick is good by Hall. So the rookie from Wisconsin, very consistent this year. The Jets lead 10-7, and they had to settle for the field goal after this coverage on Keyshawn Johnson. Field goal 10-7. And an interesting story with Ray Lucas, who is the backup quarterback today for Bill Parcells and other duties as well.
Yeah, and not number 3. I mean, we're talking to backup, and he's a special teams guy. I haven't seen this done really since Jeff Hostetler, when he was under Parcells as a special teamer.
Lucas played for Parcells last year, was cut by the Patriots this year. Kickoff headed for David Palmer at the goal line. David Palmer. Palmer following his blocking. And finally he slips. He was not hit. He slipped after a gain of 41 yards to the 41-yard line.
Now, the guy who's been the story in his first quarter for Minnesota has been Jake Reed. Jake Reed has been able to work the zones very carefully. You see these first 2 pass patterns. And then on the touchdown, it was just a tremendous job. Actually, it was good football all the way around. As you can see that Reed had the one-on-one coverage and had the great concentration at the end.
Having a breakout game from a week ago is Reed. First and 10 at the 41. And Brad Johnson's pass intended for Glover. And he caught it. A tough catch by Glover with Farrier all over him.
I think Farrier's rear end caught that ball. I think it hit him in the keister.
Got good hands.
And he just kind of slapped the keister and pulled that thing in. At least that's what it looked like from here. You know, coverage will take you down the middle of the field. And then Farrier's right there. I think somebody's rear end caught that ball.
It's a new way to catch a ball.
Absolutely.
Gain of 20 into Jet territory from the 39. Robert Smith off the right side, and Rick Lyle makes the tackle as Lyle, Logan, and Hugh Douglas, the starting front 3 for the Jets, are back in the lineup.
Watch this Minnesota Viking offensive line where they've really been running has been inside. And today, Jeff Christie, who's not a real big guy, see him right there, number 62, he's the center. He has a guy on his nose the whole time, and he was kind of worried about it. Most teams play the 4-3. He got Ernie Logan sitting right on top of his head.
Second and 6, Robert Smith will bring up third and short as Ernie Logan makes the tackle. Dennis Green telling us that Vikings have had success against teams that have played the 3-4, such as the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, see, here you go. There's your guy. He's your nose tackle. He's right on top of your center. And when you're Jeff Christie, you have to rely a lot on body position
and kind of quickness because he's not a real big guy. You can see Logan holds the point and then comes off and makes the play.
3rd down and 2. And on the rollout, and the pass is broken up. Mo Lewis breaks it up, intended for Chris Carter, and Carter had no chance there as the Jets were blanketing him all the way. It'll bring up 4th down, and Eddie Murray will come in to try, presumably, a long field goal.
To me, like Brad Johnson kind of forced that one in. He had a lot more field to work with by using his legs. And that's why they give him that, to buy some time with his legs and use the whole field.
A 49-yard attempt by Murray. 17-year veteran in the National Football League, and his line drive kick is no good as it's wide left. So Murray kicking outdoors, and the Viking kickers did practice outdoors in the snow in Minnesota this week. A miss. It's still 10-7. The trivia question is, how many coaches in Jets franchise history have a winning record? The answer coming up. Dick Stockton and Matt Millen here at the Meadowlands. Sold-out crowd as the Vikings and Jets coming in tied for first place in their respective divisions.
John Randall. John Randall looks like a caged animal down there, just waiting to get out for some raw meat.
Didn't get much last week against the Lions. Jets starting from the 39, and Morrell is met by Dwayne Clemens right away. And after the long miss by Murray, the Jets starting out with good field position, but they lose 2 on 1st down.
I want you to watch John Randall. John Randall is just, he's constant. I mean, here's Randall. He gets double teamed again, and then now look at it. See him? He's screaming at Neal, yelling at the offensive lineman, saying you need 2 guys to handle me. He's one of those guys who's non-stop talk.
Looks like the Jets are saying we're not going to let Randall beat us today. 2nd down and 12. O'Donnell going to Lorenzo Neal up the middle, and they'll be shy by about 7 or 8 yards for the 1st down. The middle linebacker, Jeff Brady, made the play. Well, Thanksgiving Day, traditional game, and on Fox the matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Detroit Lions. Coverage begins at 11:30 a.m. Eastern, 8:30 Pacific. Bears and Lions. And then you sit down and have your turkey dinner.
I understand Madden's been working on a new mutant turkey with more legs.
They're strange to look at after a while,
but they're good to eat.
3rd down and 7, and the pass up the middle is caught. Wayne Krebeck. First time he's had a chance today, and he makes the most of it. A 13-yard gain into Viking territory. 1st down, Jets.
Dick, I think what you just said is Wayne Krebeck. When he gets a chance, he makes the most of it. And how do you not like a guy like Wayne Krebeck? I mean, if you give me 11 Wayne Krebecks, I'll win every game because you're always going to be prepared. You always play 100%, and you do everything you have to get the job done. He and Chris Walsh from the Vikings remind me of they're the same guy.
Yes. And the 3rd down clutch receiver. 1st down at the 46. O'Donnell has no receivers. Gets by Ed McDaniel, and a very smart play by Neil O'Donnell. And he slides for the 1st down inside the 35, a pickup of 11.
Well, he had to take off and run because when he looked down the field, he couldn't see anything. You're going to see he's going to go back. They go play action, hold the backers inside. Now look up top. He had this, but he couldn't see it. Wide open. Now he pulls it down, and he sees Lorenzo Neal in front of him, but says, forget it, I can make it myself. And a good job of knowing where the 1st down markers were.
And his longest rush of the year on that play. 1st down at the 35, and Keyshawn Johnson, and the flag will be against Dwayne Washington, who's going to protest, and it's brought back.
They're not whistling anything. It's going to come back.
Robert Griffith brings it back, and finally they play 2-hand touch with him.
The official threw his hat down, which meant
out of bounds.
That he's out of bounds. But they're also going to run a fade stop over there and purposely underthrow the ball.
It'll be against the Vikings. He did go out of bounds, but pushed out of bounds by Dwayne Washington was Keyshawn.
Go to the top side. Oh, I don't know.
Interference on the defense, number 20. 1st down.
I don't know. That's a tough call right there.
Well, he did push him, and
that was pushing from 19 as well. I mean, Keyshawn Johnson was jostling.
Does the term judgment call come into play here?
Well, I mean, it really comes down to that, and the official's standing right there on top of it.
Minnesota Vikings defense, very aggressive. Been called for pass interference. 4th in the league. So the penalty gives the Jets a first down on the Viking 19. Here's Morrell, has an opening off to the right. Morrell inside the 10 and knocked out of bounds inside the 5-yard line.
And a nice job by Lorenzo Neal, the fullback that time. Did a good job of allowing Adrian Morrell to get to the corner. Watch Lorenzo Neal. They let the guy come up. See, he did a good job right there on John Randall, which sealed that corner and allowed Adrian Morrell to get to the outside. And Keyshawn Johnson also does a good job down the field, which allows him to pick up this first down.
Jeff Brady prevented the touchdown. 1st and goal, Jets on the 3. And O'Donnell with a play fake, wide open. Touchdown to Fred Baxter, the 2nd tight end. And he was wide open in the back of the end zone, a 3-yard strike, and the Jets lead it 16-7.
That's one of the toughest patterns in football to cover. When they go play action right at you, you have to honor this right here. See, because you see the run coming and you try to jump it, and then Baxter just slips through and gets to the top corner, and it's a hard place for your linebacker or safety to get to.
That is Baxter's 3rd touchdown catch of the year. John Hall for the extra point. And the Jets have now taken a 17-7 lead. The touchdown pass to Baxter, but the missed field goal by Murray and good field position by the Jets started them off. The last 9 red zone drives by O'Donnell, who's 10 of 13 for 76 yards and a score. And really what helped the Jets as well was the pass interference call on that man, Dwayne Washington.
And also a mix-up in coverage down in the goal line between Pete Burcich and Dwayne Washington, who didn't look too happy right there.
John Hall with the kickoff. David Palmer on the return for Minnesota. And once again, the Jets special teams does not allow Palmer to get to the 20.
Now, I told you about that play action down the goal line. They're going to lock this right here. And so what's going to happen is you're going to have Dwayne Washington and Pete Burcich, 56, are going to take this coverage. Right there is there. Now, right here's the key. See? Washington's looking down, Burcich is looking down, and nobody looks at Baxter at the back of the end zone. And you can see the finger that came pointing up. And Dwayne Washington at the end, he's going to point right there. Like, what? Who has him? That's just miscommunication.
First down for the Vikings on the 17-yard line, trailing by 10. Brad Johnson getting rushed and trying to get it to Robert Smith. Big rush by Rick Terry, and he had to get rid of it in a hurry.
And you start talking about, he's right there, see? Dwayne Washington, he's talking to himself. He's mad at himself because he knows it's about communication. So much of coverage is just about straightening out who has who and getting the right calls. Sometimes you don't see it right away, and just a little hesitation, and it's 6 points.
And as you always see, encouragement by the rest of his colleagues in the secondary. 2nd down and 10. Brad Johnson swings it out. Robert Smith, nowhere to go, is pushed out of bounds by Aaron Glenn. And a gain of 4 yards. Once again, today's Aflac trivia question is how many coaches in Jets franchise history have a winning record? The answer, just 1. And you're looking at him. Bill Parcells, 7-4. Sammy Baugh came close in 60 and 61, known as the Titans. New York Titans. Sammy Baugh was 500.
Dick, you know, right now, Chris Carter's got 1 catch. That's a mistake. We thought they learned their lesson last week. You got to go to him more.
3rd and 6 from the 21. Short drop in the pass underneath to Chris Carter, but it's going to be short of the first down. And it was Corwin Brown, the extra back, who stopped Carter. But you're right. Carter says, I can't lead at halftime if I'm not producing myself.
Yeah, if you have no game, you can't lead. But you know what? That time, that was on Chris Carter. because they threw it to him quick inside, and he tried to beat Corwin Brown back underneath. Had he just squared his shoulders and gone forward, he would have had himself the first down.
Leon Johnson, who returned the first punt 66 yards to set the tone of this game and give the Jets the lead, is back. Mitch Berger's kick will go out of bounds, and they will mark it at about the 36-yard line. Well, tonight, disaster strikes. First, the world's funniest brings you the most embarrassing party blunders. Then the Simpsons prepare for the end of the world. And journey to the center of the earth on King of the Hill, followed by the X-Files. All new edge-of-your-seat episodes tonight, starting at 7, 6 Central on Fox. Pretty good lineup.
Yeah, and it's a pretty good lineup that the Jets have right now in that offensive line, because I think they've been winning the battle. We've been talking about John Randall, but for the most part, they've been getting him done. And then the other thing is we talk about confidence and getting confidence in the offense, and particularly Neil O'Donnell. 10 for 13, 76 yards. I think he's doing just fine.
Different quarterback than he was several weeks ago, for sure. First down on the 36. Pressure by Jerry Ball, and this pass tipped and nearly intercepted. It was Dwayne Washington. It was intended for Kyle Brady, the tight end.
Well, he had Brady coming across. He also had Wayne Cribette out there. And if one of the defenders doesn't throw his arm up, that could have been a pick. He's going to throw it back, and I want you to watch Washington right there. See, he gets it out of the way and gets his hand up, and Orlando Thomas had himself a shot for a pick.
Rookie Stalin Colliday is in at defensive end for Dwayne Clemens. 2nd and 10. Here is Morrell. Quick acceleration, but he is hit by Robert Griffith first.
Yeah,
and
he's
a minimal
good.
gain.
That's a good. You know, it's kind of funny today. Victor Green and Robert Griffiths are kind of the same guy, and Wayne Cribette, Chris Walsh are kind of the same guy. But Griffiths is one of those guys who's very aggressive, and he sees things fast and goes up and he'll hit you. Now, what he's got to be able to do is always wrap the arms. He's had some problems at times of missing tackles. He gets the hit, doesn't always wrap the arms.
But we have seen him make some big sacks and blitzes this year against teams.
He's pretty tough.
3rd and 7 out of the shotgun, and O'Donnell nearly had the ball knocked out of his hands again, and he completes it to Keyshawn Johnson with a clutch catch and pass to the Viking 36-yard line. Gain of 25.
Now, that's a great job by Neil O'Donnell buying time, using his feet. Comes back, wants to throw, it's not there. Looks to the right, nothing. Up into the pocket, now go to the left and see the whole field. You see Keyshawn Johnson open, and he hits him. When that happens, you have to also credit that offensive line to be able to give him that time to run.
Well, the Jets lead by 10. They have a first down. The 2-minute warning is here, and New York still has 3 timeouts remaining. We'll be right back.
About awareness. Keyshawn Johnson on the top side, running his route, and then seeing Neil O'Donnell down here in trouble. And then having the awareness to roll to the top side, and then Keyshawn Johnson having the awareness, being able to roll away from coverage with your quarterback to make a play. That's a sign of maturity.
Keyshawn Johnson already with 6 catches for 70 yards, and the Jets, after the 2-minute warning, first down on the Minnesota 37. And the pitch to Morrell with Elliott blocking, and Morrell is stopped after a couple of yards. Jets coming in tied for first with the Miami Dolphins, and the Jets feel that if they win the NFC Central, they may be all right, because they still have games against Tampa Bay and Detroit after this one. The only divisional games the rest of the way at Buffalo and home with the last place Indianapolis Colts. But what a turnaround from 1-15 a year ago.
And you can see Parcells, that's a sign of coaching, because that's the little things. As the team goes on in the season, you expect them to get better and play their best football now.
2nd and 7 on the fake draw play. O'Donnell's pass is deflected at the line of scrimmage.
Like Jeff Brady got his hands up there, or Stalin Collinet was also there also. They came with Brady kind of on a delay blitz and got his hands up. You know, it's interesting talking to Bill Parcells this week. I really enjoyed it because I'm going to tell you who he reminds me of. John Madden. He reminds me very much of Madden. Not necessarily how they do things, but it's the reasoning behind. There's always a reason why they do something.
3rd down and 7.
Hey, Lucas.
And there is Lucas into the game. Mr. Do-It-All, Ray Lucas, who's on special teams, who is the backup quarterback out of Rutgers. He just loves, Bill Parcells does, the way this guy plays football.
You see where they put Neil O'Donnell? They lined him up wide as a wide receiver, the old decoy. He wasn't going anywhere. He just wanted to try to draw coverage there. And then Lucas, with a nice job of seeing the open hole and finding it, picking up the 1st down.
Shades of the old single wing in a way.
You know, it's funny, the other day in practice, I was standing there. Lucas was taking the scout team, and he came down and he scored on kind of a similar play, and he slammed the ball, and he looked over at Parcells, and Parcells said to him, hey, don't do that, just go make a tackle. I said, make a tackle? He's your quarterback. He says, we play him everywhere.
Activated yesterday, Bill Parcells says, look, I don't know what position you're going to play here, but I'm going to put you on the squad, and I can't guarantee that you'll keep a job, but I think he likes this fella. Gain of 15 yards by Ray Lucas, who played his college ball at Rutgers, and Dennis Green's Vikings backed up now. 1st and 10 on the 19 of Minnesota. Burrell, he is stopped at the 20, a loss. McDaniel and Brady as the clock runs to 50 seconds remaining, and the Jets still with 2 timeouts remaining.
And Ed McDaniel, they've had some problems here defensively just for being on the field too long.
Right.
The one guy who's gotten better, though, as the season has gone on, has been Ed McDaniel. I don't think he's where he was 2 years ago with that knee, but he's getting closer.
2nd down and 11. O'Donnell's pass, Keyshawn Johnson hit immediately by Griffith. And the clock continues to run, and it stops at 23 as the Jets will use their 2nd timeout. Time report, Joe Buck and Bill Moss bring you scores and highlights from around the league. And our Fox Sports sticker will have up to the second stats, all coming up on the Dockers Khakis halftime report.
That's dangerous. See, you get a lineman in Central headquarters. That means the buffet table is going to be under attack. Anytime you get Bill Moss around food, I'm going to tell you something. That guy eats anything. We were over in Europe. He was eating his blood pudding. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. And he's sitting there going, hey, this stuff's pretty good, Bill, and try some.
You know, when in Rome,
forget it. Give me a halupki. I'm happy. Blood pudding, forget it.
You know, I bet you that buffet table may be half gone already.
Doubt it.
3rd down and 1 for the Jets, who have 1 timeout remaining.
Dick, you ever want to eat, you always hang out in your alignment.
That's why I hang out with you. 3rd and 1.
Oh, shit.
And the pass to Lorenzo Neal, very close, stays in bounds. That was not a well-designed play for 3rd and 1. And the Jets are going to call a timeout.
I'm not sure Neil O'Donnell wasn't trying to throw that thing away, and Neil went down and caught that. Should have left it go.
They're out of timeouts now.
To give you his opinion. I always like players like that.
It shows they're in the game.
Yeah, and it also, they have a good understanding of what's going on. Not only their position, but the whole field.
Checking the measurement, they are short by half a yard. Maybe a little more. 4th down, and now
you got to kick
Bill
it.
Parcells is sending on John Hall with 14 seconds left. Already has a 10-point lead. And for the Jets, a 13-point advantage at intermission would be a boon. So Hall, who has already kicked a field goal from 27 yards, make it 28. This will be a 27-yard attempt. High snap, but Hall is good. And the Jets lead now 20-7. They have controlled, and that is the word, this first half against the Minnesota Vikings. We'll be right back.
Over there's the East Village. You can probably feel the creative energy.
Go against the Lions. Hall's kickoff is headed toward Palmer at the 4. David Palmer returning for the Vikings. And he is tackled with 4 seconds remaining in the half. Special teams has been the key for the Jets in this game. A 66-yard punt return. Kickoff return by Glenn. Pass interference call. The Jets have held down the penalties. And the hidden yardage, what Bill Parcells told us the other day, has been critical for the Jets' 7-4 record.
I think their defense has played very well here in the first half. They really have.
And that'll take care of the first half. That is the end of the first half with the score. The Jets 20 and the Vikings 7. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Dockers Khakis halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station.
Direct TV. Dockers halftime, brought to you by Dockers Khakis, as cool as the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. Hey, nice pants.
And welcome to the Dockers halftime. Joe Buck and Bill Moss keeping this studio kind of warm while the guys are in Green Bay. We've poured Bill away from the buffet. It's time for scores and highlights with the Jets rolling up on Minnesota at the half. The game you're watching, the Jets out in front 20-7. How about the big game, Bill Moss, Dallas and Green Bay?
Big mistakes equals big plays. Cowboys sloppy early. Emmitt Smith fumbles. Eugene Robinson recovers. That leads to Brett Favre deep to Robert Brooks for a 36-yard gain. Brooks up and down, even with the bad ribs. Then it's Favre to Dorsey Levens, 7-yard touchdown. Packer fans celebrate. Cowboys trying to build off last week's win. So far, it's no-go in Lambeau. Then it's Sanders, 50-yard interception return, his 7th interception turn of his career for a touchdown. Active leader, tied second all-time.
And right now, as they approach halftime, Green Bay is attempting a field goal hit at the moment as seconds.